I recently lifted my 2016 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road, and if you've been following my channel, you've seen some of those videos come out so far. Now that I've had the lift installed for a few weeks, I wanted to talk a little bit about the impacts of doing that lift on the Tacoma. And specifically, I want to talk about how it affected fuel economy, ride quality, and handling. Now, this is the 2016 Tacoma TRD off-road. And with this lift kit, what I did was a 2-inch spacer in the front. It's got a 2-inch rough country spacer, to be more specific, sitting up here on the top of the shock assembly. So basically you maintain the existing factory shock and coil. And then in the rear, if we can get back in here, you'll see that this silver piece down here is a new spacer between the axle and leaf spring. And again, maintaining the factory suspension in the rear. Basically, what I was looking for when I did this lift kit was to enhance the appearance of the truck. And I wasn't really looking to increase the off-road capability, purely looking at aesthetics. And so the Tacoma has quite a rake on it when it comes to stock from the factory. A true leveling kit is actually a 3-inch lift in the front and 1 inch in the rear. And so by going with the 2-1, I wanted to maintain a little bit of that rake so that it wasn't sagging in the back. And then also I wanted to have the ability to pull a trailer, put things in the bed without having the bed, or the back of the truck sit lower. And so it gives you a little bit of play there, that it's still sitting about an inch higher on that side. Now with this lift kit, my goal, like I said, was really just appearance. And so I wanted to minimize the impact to fuel economy, to ride quality, and to handling as best as possible. And felt like this lift kit would really kind of help me to achieve that as best as possible, to kind of minimize those things while increasing the appearance. Obviously, anytime you're going to lift a truck, you are going to affect those 3 items. So I wanted to minimize as much as possible. And for this video, I wanted to really kind of talk about what I've seen with those so far, what have been the impacts in those 3 areas, and whether I have any regrets or if I would have done anything differently. So starting out with the fuel economy on the truck. The Tacoma is not a great performer when it comes to fuel economy to begin with. It's rated at 18 miles per gallon in the city, 23 miles per gallon in the highway, and I'd say that I basically average about 20 miles per gallon. And so that's a mix of city highway driving. In general, I've just kind of found that I sit somewhere around 20 miles per gallon most of the time. Now, driving this around for a few weeks with this new lift kit on there, again, doing a mix of highway and city driving, I've had a good chance to do both, basically sitting just under 20 miles per gallon, about 19.6 miles per gallon. So no real significant change in the fuel economy, but it is a slight reduction, which is to be expected anytime that you lift the truck or put larger tires on it. Eventually, I do want to increase the tire size slightly from these stock factory sizes, but that was one of the nice things about this kit, actually, is that I felt like by just going 2 inches in the front and 1 in the rear, that I could maintain these tires for the time being and not feel like I needed to spend that extra money to get a different set of tires. And so eventually I'll increase those. Obviously that's going to have another impact on the gas mileage. Hopefully we can keep it to about 1 mile per gallon total loss between the tires and suspension. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the handling on the vehicle. And that's one of the things I obviously really wanted to maintain as much as possible, was the stock handling. And that's one of the nice advantages of going with the spacer kit, is that you're maintaining the stock suspension setup. You're just increasing the height slightly. And so sometimes if you replace the stock setup with an aftermarket setup, or like the Bilstein setup, for example, you maintain the existing or the factory coils with a new shock, and that can stiffen the ride. Likewise, I looked at the add-a-leaf option for the rear of the truck, and that stiffens the suspension significantly as well. And so I didn't really want to make any changes with the handling, and I've been really pleased with that. I feel like the vehicle still corners just like it did before, and going over undulations in the road or speed bumps or anything. I really feel like it handles very well. And so I've been pretty satisfied with that component of this lift kit. I don't really feel like there's been any negative impact on the handling of the vehicle. And so that's definitely a win. So the third area I wanted to cover is ride quality of the vehicle. And in general, what I've seen with the lift kit is that there's been very negligible change in ride quality with the lift kit. It still drives very smooth. It's still very comfortable. It's been very little impact to the performance of the vehicle. It still drives very nice. Speed bumps, potholes, rough pavement. There hasn't really been much of a change in any of those areas as far as the effect of the ride quality. And that was one of the things that I appreciated about this approach with the leveling kit when I made the decision to go that route, is that you're maintaining the stock suspension and coils, and so you basically do maintain this factory ride quality. All you're doing is changing the height of the vehicle. That can change a little bit when you go with like a Bilstein setup where you're reusing the factory coils. That can stiffen the ride. Adding an add-a-leaf in the rear can also stiffen the ride. And so I really liked that idea with the lift leveling kit that I went with, is that you're basically maintaining the factory ride quality. And having driven it for a short time now, that's what I've seen, is that the factory ride quality is pretty much there in all areas except for one. And what that is I've got a really subtle vibration when I first use the vehicle in the morning, or if it's cold outside when I use it after a extended period. And what that really consists of is every 10-15 seconds, for just like 2 seconds, there's this really subtle vibration. And it's almost so subtle you don't even notice it, but at the same time it just kind of drives you crazy. And so it kind of vibrates, and then it goes away, and then it comes back. Once the vehicle's warmed up, it goes away. And if you shift it into four-wheel drive, it also goes away. And so that leads me to suspect that it has something to do with the differential. I've actually got an appointment scheduled to take it into my local Toyota dealer, have them take a look. I'm hoping that I can get a recommendation and fix the issue. Again, like I said, it's very subtle, but it just drives you crazy, because prior to doing the lift kit, the handling ride quality was perfectly adequate in this truck. I was very pleased with it, and there's this piece of me that is just really frustrated that that I potentially ruined that with this lift kit. And I knew that there was going to be some impact in those areas, and I'm okay with the ride quality being slightly reduced, but this vibration just it's kind of annoying, and I wish that the camera could pick it up, but it's almost so subtle you can't hear it. It's almost just a feel that you get. So that's kind of where we're at with the handling component. I'll keep you guys updated on any progress in that area, see if we get any resolution with that issue. So just to summarize, the whole idea of lifting a truck is really, unless you're looking to use it for off-road performance, comes down to a debate of form over function. And in this case, really it was a matter of form over function, where I was looking to really enhance the look of the vehicle. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I think that it really enhances the look of the Tacoma to have those additional 2 inches in the front and 1 inch in the rear. But there's definitely some impacts there. Yes, there's been a slight decrease in the gas mileage. The handling is good, so it hasn't really been an issue there. And then the ride quality has been decreased slightly. Obviously, we're hoping that that's something that we can look into a little bit further and make some improvements to minimize the humming that we're getting with the vehicle. But in general, I'm pretty pleased with the overall outcome. Definitely glad that it didn't go any bigger, and I'm pretty satisfied with the setup that I chose. Willing to make the sacrifice on the gas mileage for the enhanced appearance, and hopefully we can just get that sound worked out with the ride quality. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. For more videos on the 2016 Tacoma, subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, thanks for watching.